Welcome to this exciting section where we'll dive deep into mastering UI design. In this part of the course, you'll learn how to transform Figma designs into fully functional React Native screens. We will explore key principles of user interface design, break down Figma components, and step-by-step creating stunning responsive screen that elevate your app's user experience. By the end of this section, you'll have hands-on experience building multiple screens and solid foundation to confidently tackle UI in your project. And you're gonna build them, and you're gonna also learn how to add animations to your app. And we will implement this in both Android and iOS. So now, let's get started. In resources, you're gonna find a link. It's a Figma link of our UI design. If you see here, you're gonna find 8 screens. Those are the screens that we're gonna build in this section. It's better and good experience to install Figma app instead of opening it inside the web. So it's better to download Figma app and display inside it. Figma app is free. So you're gonna find the link in resources. Just open this design because we're gonna implement those screens inside this section. Now let's go and create our React Native project. So here, select any folder that you want and open a terminal inside this folder. And let's write this command. nbx create expo app at latest. Then we're gonna add our project name. I'm gonna name it UI mastering. And I'm gonna select this template option. Template. Why I type this template option? Because if you see here in documentations, when you select this template options, you're gonna select one of those. The default one, the plank with TypeScript and tabs and per minimum. And because I assume that you are beginner, so I'm gonna use the plank to install it with the minimum required NPM dependencies without any configuration or navigation or any typed code. Okay? But if I select the default, he's gonna include tools like Expo CLI, Expo Router Library, and other things. So this is designed for production. But for learning, I'm gonna start with Plank without any typed code. Okay, so I'm gonna add this dash template option and press enter. Then I'm gonna select Plank with TypeScript and press enter. Now let's wait until our project is done and ready. Now our project is ready. Let's go to our root of project, cd UI mastering, and let's open it inside VS Code. So let's just type dot to open it inside VS Code. And here our project. Let's try to run it. So let's just type npm start. And let's press I to run it on iOS, or you can press A to run it on Android. Now our project is ready. Next lesson, we're gonna start building our first screen. We're gonna start with this simple one. Now let's start with this first screen. First, I would like to mention something. You cannot edit this screen, but you can take a copy. So you can create a new file for you in Figma. You can name it whatever you want, for example, temp. And inside this temp project, you can copy this screen here and paste it like this. This allows you to edit or make any changes that you want, okay? So now, let's start building this screen. We got here a logo, and we can render it inside the app using multiple ways. I'm gonna show you a good way and a better way. First, I'm gonna export it as PNG. So let's highlight it. Let's just click on it and go in Figma and press here on export logo. This export here. You can here select PNG, SVG, PDF, and here the resolution of the image, I mean the quality. Then we're gonna press on export. When exported, he's gonna show you the path that you want to export to. I'm gonna export it in desktop. So here, if I open the desktop, I'm gonna find this image here, logo.png. So let's put it inside our code. So here, let's create a src folder, src, and inside src I'm gonna create another folder called assets. Inside this assets I'm gonna drag and drop this image. So let's drag and drop it here like this. Now let's try to render it inside our app. So here inside src, let's create another folder called screens. And inside this screen, I'm gonna create a new file. Let's name it intro screen.tsx. And inside it, I'm gonna create our intro screen component. Let's use this snippet rnfes to create a React Native component. And let's just render this screen inside app.tsx. So here, instead of all of those things, I'm gonna just render the intro screen. Now let's have a look inside the app. Now we rendered the intro screen correctly. Now let's go to our intro screen and try to render this image. So instead of this text, I'm gonna just type image. And the source of this image, don't forget to import it from React Native image. And the source of this image is gonna be require function. Then I'm gonna put the path to the image. For example, I'm here inside screens. I'm gonna go level up to go to the assets. So dot, then I'm gonna select the assets. Then I'm gonna select logo.png, the name of the screen, logo.png. And let's give it some styling. So style, let's add margin top. Let's make it, for example, 80. Let's try to see our image now. Look, we got here the image and we have rendered it correctly. But there is a better way than this PNG, and it's called SVG. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, and it's better for logos, icons, graphics that need to scale cleanly because it's provide you a smaller file size with good quality. Let me show you how to use SVG. In Google, just type expo SVG and select this first option. We're gonna install the library using this command, nbx expo install React Native SVG. So let's copy it and go to our project, and inside the terminal, let's just paste this command to install this library. Now our library is installed. Using SVG is very simple. You're gonna just open this link, SVG viewer, and open it. It's called svgviewer.dev, and you're gonna go to Figma and just copy the image as SVG. Just right click on the logo or the image and press here on side copy, paste as, and select SVG. This copy as SVG and copy it and go it here and paste. Here is the SVG code of our logo, and here is the logo. You can preview it. We want to use it for React Native, so we're gonna select this React Native, and then we're gonna press here copy to copy this component. You can download it also, but we're gonna copy it and go to our project, and inside our assets we're gonna create this component, food logo.tsx, and just paste the code that we've copied from SVG viewer, that we've copied from here. And then let's just rename this component. The name of it is SVG component. We're gonna make it food logo. And at the down here also, let's name it as food logo, like this. And finally, let's go and try to import it here under this image. Let's just add food logo to render it, and let's see. See the difference between them? Let's make our simulators bigger. If you see the difference, the SVG has a good quality more than the PNG. The PNG, it's something like pixeled. Someone can tell me, but Ahmed, you can go to Figma, and when you export the image, you're gonna select this 4x. But if you do this, the image size is gonna be bigger. And in SVG, give you a good quality with a smaller file size. So it's better to use SVG better than PNG, and use the PNG in some cases. I'm gonna tell you the cases later in this course. But for logos, icons, graphics that need scalable, and illustrations, it's better to use SVG, not PNG. In this lesson, we're gonna finish this screen, this intro screen. But I would like to ask you for something. Please don't type the code with me. Please just watch this video, and after this video is end, write the code with your own. So in this video, just watch. So we're gonna go to the code. We're gonna delete the image and leave only the SVG logo. And let's remove this image here. We're gonna give this view styling, so style equals to styles dot container, and we're gonna initialize the container down here. Inside the container, we're gonna add those styling. The background color, we want to make it white, and Felix is gonna be 1 to fill all the screen, and we want to center our things, so we're gonna make justify content center and align items center as well, to center all things inside our screen. Now we are done with our food logo. What about this logo here? You remember the lesson before that I have compared between PNG and SVG. We're gonna use here also SVG instead of PNG. So let's press on it and press right click and press on copy as SVG. And go to our SVG viewer website and just paste the code here. Now here's our image here. We're gonna select React Native to get the code as React Native. And we're gonna press copy. And go to our code editor, and inside our src assets, we're gonna create a new file. Let's name it sun image. I don't know, it's a circle, or you can pick a good name, but I just name it as sun. Okay, sunimage.tsx. And I'm gonna just paste the code here and replace this SVG component with sun image. Replace it here and at the top here also. And for TypeScript, just add the type for this icon. We're gonna make it SVG props. You can import this SVG props from React Native SVG, and just remove this line here and this line here also to give those read warnings. You can leave them. You can leave them, and things is gonna work okay. This is just TypeScript issues, okay? And now let's go here to our intro screen and render our sun. After food logo here, we're gonna render the sun image. But because we've centered all things, he's gonna be in the middle. And we want to make it here at the down right here as the design. So to do this, we're gonna use the absolute position. Remember it? So we're gonna just go to our this sun image and give it style equals to styles dot, let's name it sun image. And go down here and declare this sun image style. The first thing, the position is gonna be absolute. Okay? Then the bottom is gonna be 0 because we want to make it at the bottom here. And also the right is gonna be 0. So right is gonna be also 0 to be like this. Now here's the screen in Figma design, and here's the screen inside our React Native app. Let's try to test it on Android as well. So let's go to terminal and go to Metro and press A to run our app inside Android device. And now here's our screen in Android. Here's Android, looks good, and in iOS looks good as well. Previously, we've done this screen, and now let's start working on this screen. To make things simple, we're gonna separate each piece to component. For example, this is a component and we're gonna name it user avatar. And here is another component, is just a circle with arrow. And after we finish this component and this component, we're gonna wrap them inside one component and name it header. Then it's just a simple text. And here also we got here a component, let's name it social, and another component here, let's name it send button. And then we're gonna merge them together to create this section component and render it 5 times. So we're gonna separate them 2 components, and in this screen you're gonna master creating circles. So first, let's start with this user avatar. So let's go to our code, and inside src, let's create components folder, components, and inside it we're gonna create our first component, user avatar.tsx, and we're gonna use this snippet rnfes to create a functional component. Now what we got here? We got here just image with height 32 and width 32, and it's round, so we have to give it a border radius the half of them. So we're gonna just import our image from React Native image, and we're gonna just render this image, and we're gonna give it this styling, style equals to styles.avatar, and inside this avatar we're gonna add the following: the height is 32, width is 32, and the border radius, because we want to make it round, we're gonna give it the half of height and width. So there is 32, we're gonna make it 16 because 16 is the half of 32. And we're gonna add to our image any URL. So we're gonna give it source URI to give it a source from the internet. Let's select any image from the internet. So here, let's just type Garfield. Let's select any image of Garfield. For example, let's select this. Let's open it a new tab and get the URL of it, and just go here and pass it here inside source URI. And just let's press save and see. Oops, we forgot to render our new screen. So let's just create a new screen. Let's name it contact us screen.tsx, and let's create a functional component rnfes to create it here, and let's go to our app.tsx and render it here instead of this intro screen. So contact us screen. So here's our contact us screen. Now let's go to it and render our user avatar component. So user avatar component. Let's just give some margin top here. So style margin top. Let's make it, for example, just for now, for testing, 15. And here we got here our user avatar. Let's try to select another image because this image has a background white. Let's try to select another image with background another color to show you the circle. Okay, so let's, for example, let's select this image. So let's press open a new link and get the URL of it and paste it here inside this URI. Now here's our user avatar, how it's locked. But we got here a thing. If you see here, you're gonna notice that we got an issue with these values. Those values 32 are not responsive. For example, if you try to display this logo in bigger devices, the sizes are gonna be smaller. And if you try to add those pixels in small devices, the size is gonna be bigger. So we want to make those 32 and 16 responsive. And as you've learned before, we're gonna use some responsive techniques in building those screens. And we've learned before how to use some responsive techniques and how to use React Native Size Matters. So let's go and install this library, React Native Size Matters. Let's select this option and let's install this library. Let's just copy this command and go to our code editor and just paste it here and press enter. Now our package is installed. Let's go and use it. Instead of this 32, we're gonna wrap it inside scale. You can import this scale for React Native Size Matters. This is a shortcut for scale. And this also 32, we're gonna put it inside scale. And this 16, we're gonna put it also inside scale. This is 16 is the half of height and width to make our component is a circle. You can make it 16, I mean the half, or more than this. For example, 1000, 100, whatever you want. The most important thing, the border radius must be above the half of height and width to make a circle. Okay? Now we are done with our first component. And I hope that you didn't type the code with me. And I hope that you try to create this component with your own right now. In previous lesson, we've created this user avatar. And in this lesson, we're gonna create this back button. So let's go and create our component. So in this code, let's go to our src components and let's create back button.tsx. And let's create functional component using rnf-es snippet. And let's just render it inside our screen. So inside contact us screen, let's just render back button like this. Let's remove this duplicated import. Now here's our back button. We want to make here a circle, and inside it we want to put this arrow. So how to create a circle? We've learned this before, you remember, in user avatar. We're gonna just make the height and width 2032, and the border radius is gonna be the half. So we're gonna just give this view style equals to styles.container. I want to remind you, please don't try the code with me. Just watch this video, and after this video is done, try to create the component with your own. Okay? So the height is gonna be scale 32. The width is gonna be scale 32 as well. And border radius, you have to make it above 16. So let's make it 16 or above. And what's the background color? In Figma here, if you press on it, you're gonna find this is the background color of this icon here. So let's copy it and just add it here. So background color is gonna be this hex color. And finally, we want to center anything inside this circle because we're gonna put this arrow, so we want to center it. So we're gonna use justify content, center, and align items center as well. Let's remove this text and try to add this icon. You can use SVG or you can use Expo vector icons. In this section, we're gonna use both. So here, inside Google, just type Expo vector icons, and let's open this link. Let's search for chevron left. Here's chevron left here. Just press on it and try to use it. So let's copy this, import, let's paste it here. Then let's copy the render and let's paste it here. And let's make some changes. The size here in Figma, if you see the size, we got here the size. The height is 7 and the width is 3. So let's make it, for example, 7 and try to have a look. So scale of 7. Oops, it's a lot smaller. So let's make it bigger. Let's make it, for example, 20. Let's decrease it a little bit. Let's make it, for example, 16. Okay, 16 looks better. Now finally, let's format our code. Let's make this back button touchable opacity. Touchable opacity because it's a button. Oops. We've duplicate imported. So we can press on it because it's a button. And finally, let's put them together as a header. So if you see this header, we got here the user avatar and we got here the back button and space between them. So let's go to our contact us screen. Here's the view. The margin top is 50. Let's put it inside vertical scale. So VS. And let's put our user avatar and back button inside another view. And let's give this view some styling. So style equals to styles.header. And we're gonna initialize this header here. We're gonna make the Felix direction is row. To put them between together, we're gonna make the back button above the user avatar. And we're gonna make justify content, we're gonna make it a space between. So we're gonna make the space between the user avatar and the back button. And finally, let's add some padding here. So if we go back to Figma, we're gonna see that our view has a padding here, padding of 17. So let's try to add this padding horizontal. So if you have a look here, we use here the style sheet, and above we use here inline styling. So let's have here padding horizontal, scale of 17 to have spaces in the edges of the screen. Let's try to test it on Android to see. Here is how it looks in Android. It's beautiful header, isn't it? Now we are done with our header. In previous lesson, we've created our header component. Now let's have a look at the rest of components. We want to build this component here. This component, we're gonna name it, for example, social section. And it contains 3 components. The first is this circle here, send button, and the social icon, and this text, and a little separator here. So let's start creating those 2 circles component. So let's start with this. It's a circle with 46 of pixels. So let's go to our src, and inside components folder, let's create a new file. Let's name it send button.tsx. And we're gonna use our snippet rnfes to create a functional component. And since it's a button, we're gonna make this view touchable opacity like this. Let's go and render it to see what's happening. So for example, let's go for now to contact us screen, and let's try to render it here. Send button. Oops, let's render it after this view. Now let's give it some style. We're gonna make it style equals to styles.circle. And inside this circle, we're gonna make the height scale 46, the width scale 46 as well. The border radius is gonna be scale of the half of them is 23, or you can pick any number above than 23. For example, let's make it 40, for example. And to center things inside it, we're gonna use justify content center and align items center as well. And finally, let's go and see the background color of it. So here's the background color. Let's click on it. Here's the background color. So now let's add background color. Is this color. What we get inside this button? We got here this icon. So let's convert this icon to SVG component. So let's right click on it and press on copy as SVG like this. And let's go to our SVG viewer website, and let's paste it here. It doesn't appear because it's white color. If you make it black like this, look, we can see it. So now let's go here and let's copy this component. And since it's an icon, not an image, so let's inside assets here, let's add a new file and name it icons.tsx. And inside this icons, we're gonna put a lot of icons. So let's paste this component here. Let's remove this export default. And let's add the TypeScript here, SVG props from React Native SVG. And let's remove this line. And finally, let's rename this icon. Let's make it, for example, send icon. And finally, let's just export it. So export send icon. So in this file, we're gonna put multiple icons. So here's the send icon. Let's copy it and go. Instead of this text, let's just render it here. We got here duplicated import. It's because my VS Code auto import. It makes this issue. So let's save, and we got here an error. You try to register 2 views. Let's see what's happening here. Let's try to reload. Let's press on I to install the app again. Now it worked perfectly. And here's our send button here. Now let's build our social icon here, this icon here. And since it's circle like this, we're gonna just copy and paste this code. So let's copy this send button code. And let's go to our components and add a new component. Let's name it social circle.tsx. And let's paste the code of send button here. And let's name it just social circle, like this. Now let's go and import it. So inside our contact us screen, let's use this social circle here. And let's make some changes. First, it's not a button. So this touchable opacity, we're going to make it view, like this. And don't forget to import it. And in this circle, we're going to see it's a white color. So if you check it, the background color of it is white. So let's make the background color is white. So FFF. And if you go back here and press on this circle, you're gonna see here border width. The border width is 1 and the border color is this hex color. So let's go and implement it. So border width is gonna be scale of 1 and border color is gonna be this color that we've copied from Figma. And now we got here our social icon, but we need to put inside it an icon. And we're not gonna put the icon right now because we're gonna put the icons dynamically, not statically. Because we got here multiple icons: WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. So we're gonna just remove this send icon button and we're gonna make it empty right now until we've done with this component, this whole social section component. So we're gonna go to our components and create that component. Let's name it social section.tsx. And let's create a functional component. And finally, let's close this send button and social circle and this icon, and let's import it here, down here. And also let's remove this. And let's copy this send button and social circle and import it here inside this social section, like this. And don't forget to import them, send button and social circle. We got also try to register 2 views with the same name. Let's reload our Metro again. I think we need to clean the cache in Metro. So let's close our Metro like this using Control and C. And let's clear the terminal. And let's run this command: nbx expo start -- clear. Now let's press I to install the app inside iOS again. And if this didn't fix the issue, so we need to remove our node modules and reinstall them again. Now let's go and continue working with our social section. If you see here, we got here a circle and another circle and text between. So we're gonna make the Felix direction is row and start with social icon, then the text, then the send button. So here we're gonna make style equals to styles.container. And inside this container, we're gonna make the Felix direction is row and the social circle is above send button. And here we're gonna add this text. Let's make it just WhatsApp for now. So let's make this text WhatsApp. Later we're gonna add some properties. So now here's our component. Let's make this text in the center. And since Felix direction is row, we're gonna center it using align items vertically, not justify content, like this. And let's give this text some styling. So style equals to styles.text. For this text, we want to add to it some margin start of 14 pixels. And we want to make a space between it and this send button. So we're gonna put to it Felix of 1. So let's go back to our code and just add margin start, scale of 14, like this, to have a space between it and the social login and the social icon. And also we're gonna make it Felix of 1 to push this icon to the end here, like this. Now let's check the color and the font size of the text. So in Figma, let's double click on the text. Let's see here. We got here the color, this color of the text. Let's copy it, and the font size is 12. So let's go back. Color of the text is this hex color, and font size is 12. Now let's check. Now our design is like Figma. We just need to add a last thing, and this thing is this border here. Look, we got here border at the down here of this component. So let's create it. This is the color of the border, width of the border. So let's go back to our style, and inside container, let's add border bottom width. We're gonna just put it at the bottom because it's only in the bottom. The border is only in the bottom. Okay? And border bottom color is this hex color. So now we've done with the border. We just need to add some padding to this border. So if we open our component, we're gonna see that how much is the padding. See the spaces between things. Just use the option if you are using Mac, and in Windows I think it's Alt. Try to press Alt, then see the spaces in Figma. Okay, so now we got here 15 pixels of space. So let's add some padding bottom, vertical scale of 50 to have space between this and the above section. Or we can make it padding vertical to have also space in the down and in the top, like that, because each section has also some padding to the top. So we made it padding vertical. Now we're done with this component, but we still need to add this icon here, and we're gonna add those icons using the props, the React props. Now it's time to add this text and add this container of our social section component. So it's just a view. If you press on it, it's just a view with border radius 14 and background color, this background color. So let's copy this background color and let's go to our contact us screen, and this is the social section. Let's add a view and give it style equals to styles dot social container, and let's go and add this style social container. The background color was this color that I have copied from Figma, and the border radius was 14. Remember? I remember. And we got here some padding. So padding top is 26 and padding horizontal is, here's 18 and here's 20. We're gonna select only one thing. Let's select, for example, 20. So padding horizontal, let's make it scale of 20, or let's make it 18 like this. I think 18 is better. And padding vertical, let's make it vertical scale of 26. Oops, 26 is very big. Let's try to decrease it. Let's try to make it 15 like this. I think 15 is better. Now let's add this text, social media platform. So let's copy it and let's add it here. So text, social media platform, and the style of this text is semi-bold 16 and the color is black. So let's add style equals to styles dot, let's name it social title. The name is up to you. And inside the social title, the font size is gonna be scale of 16 and font weight is semi-bold like this. Now let's give some space between our container and contact us. So it's about 22 pixels. So let's add margin top vertical scale 22. We forgot to add this text, contact us text. So let's copy it and add a text above the social container. So here text is contact us, and let's give our text some styling. So let's style equals to styles dot, let's name it screen title. And we're gonna give it those styling. If you open Figma and see, you're gonna see that it's semi-bold and the font size is 30. So let's edit. So font size is scale of 30. And font weight is semi-bold. And let's add some margin top. We got here margin top 38. So margin top, vertical scale of 38. I think it's a very big space. Let's try to decrease it. Here in Figma is 38, but in mobile it's a lot bigger. So let's decrease it. Let's make it, for example, let's try 20. I think 20 is better. And finally, it got here some space. It's not at the line with this view. So let's give it some margin start. Let's make it 19. So let's add some margin start. Let's make it 19. Like this. Now we are done with this text, and this text, let's duplicate our social section. We got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's make those 5. So let's duplicate this. First, let's format our code. So right click and press on format document. Then let's duplicate this code. So let's copy it and paste, 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 paste 5 times. Now we got here our component like the screen, but all of them are WhatsApp, 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 and there's no icons here. So in next lesson, we're gonna make our social section as reusable component so we can implement inside it different titles and different icons as well. Depend on the props. Now let me show you something. If you have a look here, we got here social section for WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. And here also, by the way, this design is old. It became X. And if you see here also, we got here WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. Different icons and different texts. What to do in this case? Should we create 5 components, one and call it WhatsApp section and another Twitter or X section, and the third is an Instagram section? Of course not. We're not gonna build 5 components. We're gonna just build one component and we're gonna make it reusable. We're gonna just pass something called props to this component to make it customizable. But what is this word props? This props is a shortcut for properties, and it's a way to pass data from component to another, from parent component to child component. You can think of props like function arguments. When you create a function and want to make it more reusable, you can just easily add to it some props. And we're gonna talk about props in details in section 5 when we build our bookstore app. In this video, props. And props is a basic React. So let me show you how to add props to our component. Here our contact us screen. Let's try to add title here, and the first title is gonna be WhatsApp, like this. And let's go to our social icon component, and instead of passing this static name, we're gonna just pass title and add this title here in our component and press save. Now look what's happened. We got here the word WhatsApp. Let's try to add another title for this, for example X, and press save. Now look, we got here X. The third one, let's try to add title with, what was it? It's Instagram. So let's copy it and pass it here. So now I think you've learned a little bit about props and how props is working. And if you don't understand props yet, don't worry, we're gonna talk about it later inside a separate video, and also we're gonna use it more and more and more in this course. We're gonna build AI chat app, we're gonna build e-commerce app, we're gonna build bookstore app, and we're gonna use another code like native modules and so we're gonna practice props a lot. So please just let us focus on UI and designing in this section. So now let's add the props. Number 3 is snapshot. Let's add title here and make it snapshot. And finally, let's add TikTok. Now we're done with the text. How about the icons? Let's go to our social section. We got here social circle. If we open this component, we're gonna find it. It's a very simple component. So let's try to just copy this view and try to render it directly. So let's comment this and let's add a view with the styles.circle. I'm just making this to avoid something called props drilling. So instead of passing props from our social circle to our social section, then passing another prop from social section to contact us screen, it's a very bad approach. So let's make it like this. It's just a view with a style.circle like this. And here we're gonna pass our props. So let's just add the icon prop here, and to use this icon, we're gonna pass it as prop. So let's add it here. And then we're gonna go to our contact us screen and add the icon property. The first icon was WhatsApp. Let's try to search for WhatsApp icon inside Expo vector icons. So inside our Google, let's just type Expo vector icons. And let's search for WhatsApp. We got here an icon of WhatsApp. We can import it from Font Awesome. So let's press here and let's copy this import and paste it at the top here as we've learned before. And copy also this render and pass it here inside this icon. So inside this icon, we're gonna just pass this import here. And now let's press save and try to see. But the color, we need to make it this color. In Figma, the color of it is this hex color. So let's copy it from Figma and let's just paste it here like this. Now the second icon is X. Here in Figma is Twitter, but Twitter is very old. Now it's called X. So we're gonna just search for X icon. So let's go to our Expo icon and search for X. We got here X icon here. Let's just copy it and paste the import here. Then copy the render and paste it here inside our icon. Let's just add icon property and paste it here like this. Now let's see. Let's make the color also as before, this hex color. I know this is not the icon of X website. I know this, but we're not wasting our time in searching about X icon. Those things must be ready in design, okay? Now, icon number 3 is Instagram. Let's search for it. In Instagram, we got it here from anti-design, so let's copy it. Let's paste the import at the top, and let's just also add the icon property, and inside it, we're gonna add it here. And the color of it, of course, is gonna be like this color. The third is Snapchat. Let's search for Snapchat. Let's go and search in Figma to get the best one that match. I think this is match this icon. So let's just copy this from Font Awesome. Let's copy the import first and paste it here. And I think we got duplicated, so let's delete it. And let's just copy the render and go here and add it inside icon property and paste it here and also change the color. Now here's our Snapchat. Finally, our TikTok. So let's go and search for TikTok. Let's use it from Font Awesome 5. Let's copy the import. And also let's copy the render. And let's paste here in our icon property. And the color as well is gonna be this hex color. Now we are done with our social screen. I would like to mention two things. This icon is not as this icon. So you can copy this as SVG, like this, right click and copy as SVG, and to convert it from SVG component to React Native component and use it as we've learned it before here in this lesson. Remember when we created SVG here and here? You can also use it as SVG instead of Expo vector icons. And the other thing, you can use object destruction. For example, we got here 4 imports from Expo vector icons. We can make it like this. We can make it import from @expo vector icons and destruct what inside it. For example, font awesome and feather and anti-design and font awesome 5. We can make it like this and comment this or delete them and press save, and it will give you the exact result. We'll just destruct our object. Instead of importing each one separately, we import all of them in just one line of code. And finally, if you have a look at those colors, we got here duplicated code. This color and this color and this color and this color are duplicated, and this is a bad approach in coding. You have to follow a good design system, and we're gonna make this later in our project, AI chat app and smart e-commerce app. We're gonna create a folder for styles and put the colors inside it without duplicated colors. So don't worry about this. And finally, let's just add some TypeScript here. So let's add interface. Let's make it social section. Without this interface, everything is gonna work, but those warnings will continue to appear. So let's get rid of them. Let's just give them types. For example, the title is a string and the icon is React node. And let's just add this interface here. So the type of it is gonna be functional component, and add this interface inside it here. Now the warnings are gone. It's just TypeScript code. In previous lesson, we've done with this contact us screen. And in this lesson, we're gonna start creating our meditation screen. So let's go to our code. Let's go to our screens folder and create a new screen. Let's name it, for example, home screen or meditation screen. You can name it whatever you want. And inside this screen, we're gonna create a functional component, RNFES. And let's render this screen inside app.tsx. So let's go to our app.tsx and render this screen. Home screen. Now let's remove unused code. Let's remove this, and this, and this line, and this line, and also those lines, and this line. Just keep it like this. Now what we get inside our home screen? We got here text, and another text, and top tabs, and a list with 2 cards in each row. So let's start with creating this text, meditation text. So we're gonna go to our code and create our first text called meditation. And let's add some padding top. So style equals to styles dot, or let's make it inline styling. So we're gonna add padding top. How much? Let's make it 70. So here, padding top vertical scale of 70. Now let's see how it looks in iOS. I think it's very big. It's very big. Let's try to decrease it. Let's make it, for example, 50. I think this looks much better. And here how it looks in Android. Let's add styles for this text. First, let's add padding horizontal for all the content, because we got here padding horizontal 16 to our content. So here we're gonna add padding horizontal scale of 16 to have spaces in the left and in the right. And for this text, we're gonna give it this style. We're gonna make it semi-bold with font size 20, and the color of it is gonna be this color. So here, let's give this text style. Color is this hex color. and font size is gonna be scale of 20, and font weight is gonna be semi-bold, like this. Now here's our title. Let's create another text. Let's just format our code, and then let's add the other text. But first let's add some margin bottom to our meditation text. So let's add margin bottom, vertical scale of 6, and then let's add this other text. It's just a dummy text. Let's add it, and it's gonna be font size 14, and this is the hex color of it. So here we're gonna add another text. Here's the hex color of it. So style, color is gonna be this hex color, font size, scale of what was 14. And it got some margin bottom 16 between it and this top tabs. So let's add margin bottom, vertical scale 16. Now we've built our two text. Next lesson we're gonna build this top tabs component. In this lesson we're gonna create this top tabs. If you have a look at this top tabs, you're gonna say this is easy to build. We're gonna just add a text and another text and a container and a second container for this tab. But no, this tab must be dynamic, not static. I mean, when I press here, this brown view must be here, and this text must be black and not bold. And also, we want to make our top tabs accept more than 2. For example, what if you want to add a third tab or fourth tab? So in this lesson, we're gonna build this top tabs in a dynamic way, not static way. So we're gonna first just build the container of it. So let's go to our code and go to our folders. Inside components, let's create a new component called top tabs.tsx. And we're gonna create a functional component using the snippet rnfes. And we're gonna just render this top tabs to see what are we gonna do inside our code. First, let's start with a container. We got here a container with this background color and border radius 12. So we're gonna go here and add style equals to styles.container, and here container. The background color is gonna be this hex color, and the border radius is gonna be scale of 12, like this. Then we're gonna build this tab here, this second container of the tab of active tab. So we're gonna just render it, but we want to render it in dynamic way. So let's first initialize our tabs array. So const tabs array equals to live and recorded, like this. And also let's define some colors. For example, the active color and inactive color. So if you see here, the active color is this color. So let's copy it and initialize it here. So const active bg. This is a shortcut for active background. Okay. And also let's copy the color of active text. It's white. FFF, it's white. So we're gonna also const active text equals to white, active, and inactive text is gonna be this color. So we got here active background, active text, inactive text. And we got no inactive background because the inactive background is the color the same as the container of the view. Okay. Now let's try to render those two tabs. So we're gonna use map method of JavaScript. Map method is JavaScript method, allow us to map our array. So we're gonna just tabs array dot map, and we're gonna pass tab name, and we're gonna just map it and return it in touchable opacity. Why touchable opacity? Because those are buttons. When you press here, this tab must be active, okay? And we're gonna give this touchable opacity, this is style. So style equals to styles dot tab button. And let's define this tab button style. So here down, at the down here, the top button is gonna be, we're not gonna add the background color. We're gonna just add the border and the height and the width. So the border is 8 and the height is 32. And we're not gonna pass a width because we want to make it to fill all the width. Okay, so now we're gonna go back and make it the height is vertical scale 32. And we're gonna make felix of 1 because we want to make it flexible. So if we got 2 tabs, each tab will take the half. If we got 3 tabs, each tab will get the third. Okay, so we're gonna give each tab felix of 1. And border radius, we've said it's 8. And finally, let's justify content and align items to be in the center because we want to make the text inside the tab in the center, vertically and horizontally. Now let's press save and see. We didn't get anything yet. Did we render it? Yes, we rendered it because we didn't return anything inside this touchable opacity. So it's time to return our text. And we're gonna pass inside this text the tab name. This tab name refers to each element inside our array. So it will refer to live and recorded. Now let's format our code and press save. Now let's give our container height and width. So here in our container, let's just go back here. We got here the height is 40 and the width is the all screen width. So the height as vertical scale 48 and the width is 100% or no need to add it. But we need to add Felix direction is row to make it in the row values like this. And let's center the item. So align items, center, to center our 2 tabs like this. And finally, let's add some padding. So if you notice here, we got here padding of 4. So we're gonna just add padding. Padding is a scale of 4, like this. Now we got here 2 tabs and it's time to style our tab button. So we're gonna add a useStateHawk. We are using useStateHawk to update the state inside our React component. So we want to make a useStateHawk with the state value of a string. When it's live, this tab is gonna be active, and when it's recorded, this tab is gonna be active. So we're gonna use useStateHawk. So const active tab and set active tab equals to use state, and the active tab we're gonna start with the live one. Now let's add some styling to our tab button. So we're gonna make it array of styles and we're gonna add this style here. If active tab equals tab name, we're gonna add this style. Background color is gonna be active BG, like this. So here we can see when our active tab equals to our tab name, we're gonna add this style here, this brown background. And the active tab now is live, and active tab is equal tab name is equal the live. So the live now is active and has the brown background. If we make this live recorded like this, the recorded one is gonna be the selected one with the brown background. Now let's style also the text. And for the text, we're gonna add those 2 styles. We're gonna add style equals to if active tab equals tab name. We're gonna add styles dot active text. Else we're gonna add styles dot inactive text, and we're gonna initialize those down here. Active text and inactive text. This here, inactive text. For the active text, the color is white and the font size is 14 and it's semi-bold. So color is white, font size is gonna be scale of 14, and font weight is gonna be semi-bold. Here's for active text. And for inactive text, it's gonna be font size 14 and this is the color. So inactive text font size is gonna be scale of 14, and the color, we forgot that we initialize those colors at the top here, active text and inactive text. So here the color is gonna be inactive text, and here instead of this white we're gonna just add the active text. It's still the white, but we just store it in a constant like this. Now our last step to do is I want, when I press here, I want to change the state. If you have a look at this, use state hook. This is the hook to update the state. When it's recorded, the recorded is selected. When I make it live, the live is selected. If I put anything else, no one is selected. So how to set this recorded or live in the code, not manually when I type this. No, I want the user interact with this button. When he press here, the recorded become active. How to do this? That's pretty simple. We're gonna just, in this touchable opacity, we're gonna just make onPress handler. So we're gonna add onPress, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna just set active state, set this active tab here to the tab name. As simple as this. Now see, look, when you press here, you get this as an active, and when you press here, you get this as an active. And also you can add 3 or 4 tabs. For example, let's add a new tab, for example, videos. Look, it's become with 3 tabs. You can make it 4. Look, we got here 4 tabs. But let's just return it to make it 2 tabs. And let's press on the live, because the one was selected was the 4th tab, okay, in the state here. Let's just format our code, format document, and let's just refactor this part here. This is a duplicated code, and duplicated code is not a good practice. So let's just copy this condition here and make it here. For example, let's, instead of typing it like this, we're gonna just create a constant. Let's name it is active, and we're gonna store inside it this part here. Active tab equals to tab name. So let's replace this with this constant and replace this also with this constant and format our document again. Now we got here our 2 tabs. If you are worried with this use state hook, don't worry, we're gonna use it more and more and a lot in this course. So don't worry about this use state hook. It's basic React, but don't worry, we're gonna use it a lot in this course and you're gonna master it by the end of the course. In previous lesson, we've created our top tabs component, and in this lesson, we're gonna build this meditation card component. So inside our code, let's just go to folders, and inside components folder, let's create a new file. Let's name it meditation card.tsx, and let's create a functional component using RNFES. I think we've typed meditation wrong. Let's just fix it, and let's fix it here as well in the name of component. Now, what we got here? We got here image background with a layer of it with a little bit dark color, and this live page and title and icon with text here also. So we got 2 texts, icon and a text here, and view and image background and dark overlay. First, let's start with rendering this image. So let's get any image from the internet for just testing. So here in internet, you can get any image that you want. It's just for testing. So let me select this image here. Let's select this image. So let's open it in a new tab and get the URL of it. Okay. Now let's go back to our code and render. Instead of this view, we're gonna render image background, and the source of this image is gonna be source. We're gonna just put it statically right now. URI, the link that I have copied. Okay, now let's render this card. So inside home screen, let's just render it statically right now, a single card. And let's continue styling. So this image has some styling. So we're gonna add style equals to styles dot card, or let's make it image container, and let's add the styles for this image container down here. If you go back to Figma, now let's get the style of this card. We got here the height is 161 and the width 166. So the height as vertical scale 161 and the width as scale of 166. Now our image appears here. We got here border radius for this image 12. So let's add border radius, scale of 12. And we're gonna make the overflow hidden. So anything outside of this image is gonna be hidden. Now we are done with image container. Let's now add some styling for the image itself. So we're gonna add this property image style, and this is gonna be styles dot image. So we're gonna define it here. Image, the width is gonna be 100%. The height is gonna be 100% as well. The resize mode, I'm gonna make it cover to cover all the space. And let's make the opacity 0.7 like this. Now I think we're done with the image, but we still need to add some overlay. And this overlay is very important, and I'm gonna show you why. Let's try to add this text. So inside our image background, we're gonna add a view. And inside this view, we're gonna add this text with meditations. And we want to make this text at the down here. So we're gonna add some styling to this view. We're gonna make it styles dot card content. And we're gonna initialize this styles down here. So card content, we're gonna make the position absolute. The left is gonna be, we're gonna make it 0 and then add padding. So we can add here padding of 10, or let's make it, the bottom is 10 and the left, let's make it 10 as well. So left as scale of 10 and bottom scale of 10 as well. And for this text, we're gonna add this style. So style equals to styles dot title. And we're gonna initialize it down here. The color is white, so color as white, FFF. You can get it from Figma here if you just double click on it. The color is white and the size is 12 and it's semi-bold. So font size as 12 and font weight is semi-bold. Now look, because the color became white, it doesn't appear. So now let's add a dark overlay to our image here. So we're gonna just add a view. After this image background, we're gonna just add a view with self-closing tag because we're not gonna add anything inside it. And we're gonna make style equals to styles dot overlay. So we're gonna put a dark overlay to this image. And inside this overlay, let's just fix the spelling error. Overlay. First thing, we're gonna just spread this style sheet dot absolute fill object. Style sheet dot absolute fill object. What is this absolute fill object? It's predefined style in React Native that looks like the position is absolute and left and right and top and bottom, all of them are zeros. It's to make the component fill its parent absolutely, meaning it will stretch to all 4 edges, top, bottom, right and left. Okay, to cover all the component. Then we're gonna just add a background color. So background color, we're gonna make it RGBA 0, 0, because we want to add opacity 0, then 0.15 for the opacity. Now look, we've got here an overlay to the image, but we want to make it a little bit darker. Let's try to make it 40. Now our text seems to be appeared. Let's try to make it 60. I think let's make it 45. I think 45 is better, is a good one. Okay, let's continue add our another text, but first let's format our code. So format document to make our code looks better. Then let's add this another text here. But before we add this text, we need to add this icon also. So let's right click on this icon and press on copy as SVG and go to our website, SVG viewer, and open it and paste the code here. Then go to React Native, then copy the SVG icon here. Copy it and go to our icons. And let's export this icon here. And let's just rename it. Let's make it video icon. We've learned this before. SVG props. And let's remove this line of code. Now our video icon. So let's, inside this view, let's add another view. And inside it, we're gonna put our video icon. We got here an error. Identifier view has already declared. Let's try to make not duplicated imports because it makes an error. We got another error. Try to register two views with the same name. Let's try to reload our app. Now our icon appeared. We got here a warning. Each child in the list has a unique key. I know what is the issue of it. Remember our top tabs component. Let's go for it and add our touchable opacity, a key. So key equals to, let's make it tab name, like this. Now we fixed our issue. Now let's go back to our meditation card, and with this video we're gonna add this text with this title. So now let's add another text. And let's make it with row direction. So inside this view, we're gonna add style equals to Felix direction. We're gonna make it row like this. And also we're gonna center them vertically. So align items, center. Now for this text, just add this style, styles dot date text. And inside our date text, we're gonna add the style for it. The date text is 12 and the color is white. So font size is a scale of 12 and color is white. And we just need to add some margin start here. So margin start, let's make it scale of, let's see how much, 7. So now we're done with the title and the date. We still have this page here. So let's implement it. So let's go up here and let's, after this overlay, let's add a view with this style equals to styles dot live page. And we're gonna add the styles for live page. The live page has height of 22 and width of 39 and border radius 90, and the hex color of background. So let's go and initialize this style. So background color, this hex color, and the height vertical scale 22, and the width is a scale 39, and border radius is a scale of 90. Now let's save and see. And we want to make it at the top here. So it's position absolute. And it's the right of 10 and top of 7. So we're going to make position absolute, top as vertical scale of 7, and right, what was it? 10. Right? Scale of 10. Now let's see. Now look, it's in the good place. Now let's just add inside it the text And inside this text, we're gonna just type life like this. And the style for this text, the color is white, the font size is 11, and the font weight is semi-bold. So let's give it some style here. So style equals to styles.life text. And down here, we're gonna initialize it. Font size as scale of 11. Font weight as semi-bold. Color is white. Now let's see. Looks good, but we just need to center it. So we're gonna go to live page container and add justify content, center, and align items, center as well, like this. Now we're done with our component. We just still need to replace this text with props and also the image. In previous lesson, we've created our card component. Now it's time to render our cards in a list like this with 2 columns. So we got here a list, a data list. How to render them? I'm gonna tell you, but first, let me just download the data and import it to our app. So in resources, you're gonna find a data file called data.tsx. Just download it and drag and drop it inside our code editor. So here, inside our VS Code, let's just go to our folders. Inside src, let's create a new folder and name it data. And inside it, we're gonna just drag and drop our data file here. So let's drag and drop it here. It's called dummy data. And if you have a look at this data, you're gonna notice that it's just an array. And inside in this array, multiple objects. Each object has ID, image, because we want to render different images here for each card, and title and date. Those are the data lists that we're gonna render inside our app. But how to render those data inside our app in a scrollable way? We've learned it before in the UI and design section that we can use a scroll view to scroll inside our app. But is there in React Native a better component than scroll view for rendering a large amount of data? Of course there it is. There is a component called FlatList, and this FlatList is a built-in component used for efficiently rendering large lists of scrollable data, and it's a better performing alternative to using scroll view when you have many items, because FlatList only renders the items that are currently visible on the screen. Okay, so rendering the data in FlatList, a large data, is better than scroll view. So in this lesson, we're gonna create our FlatList and render this data, this dummy data, inside our home screen. To use FlatList, first you need to import it from React Native. So here, FlatList, and we're gonna use it down here. Our FlatList take 3 main properties, and those properties are the data, and for this property, we're gonna pass our dummy data. This data here, we're gonna import it. If you have a look at the top, we've imported from data folder. And there is the first property, and it's very important because this property contains the data that we want to render. The second property is key extractor. And this key extractor is a function that identifies each item in a unique way. And we do this to get each item a unique ID. Okay? And for this key extractor, we're gonna just give item. It's just a JavaScript function, and we'll return item.id. And the third property is render item. What is this render item? This render item prop is the prop that's responsible for the component that we're gonna render. And inside our Figma design, we're gonna render the product card, this card here, meditation card. So we're gonna pass inside our render item this meditation card. So we're gonna use this render item property, and it's a function that returns the component to render for each item. Okay, so we're gonna just destruct our item and return here our meditation card like this. Let's cut it and paste it like this, and let's press save and see what we got inside our emulator. Now if you have a look at our simulator, you're gonna notice here that we got our FlatList with 6 items. Those are the data because those are 6 items, and they appear here in our meditation card component. But our component needs some fixes. If you have a look at Figma, you're gonna notice that we got 2 columns, not 1 column. And also we want to hide this ugly sidebar here. Look, this indicator here. To hide this indicator, we got a prop in FlatList called show vertical scroll indicator. We're gonna set it to false, like this. Now it disappeared. And to make it 2 columns, we're gonna just use this property, number columns. We're gonna just make it 2. We got here an error because you just need to reload your app, because if you read here, changing num column on the fly is not supported. So please just reload your app. So in terminal, just press R to reload our app again. Now it worked perfectly. We got here 2 columns. Now if you have a look at Figma design, you're gonna notice that we got here padding bottom here. You're gonna notice that we got here margin bottom here of 16 pixels. So let's add this margin. How to add this? First, let's just make our code editor like this to see what's happening in our simulator, and put the simulator like this. Okay. Now we got a third property called column wrapper style. And this is property as lets to apply styles to the row container that wrap multiple items on each row. Okay. So let's give it this style. Margin bottom is gonna be vertical scale of 16 to get this space here at the bottom. And also let's make justify content space between to try to make a space between them, between each row. Now if you have a look at the design, you're gonna notice that there is no vertical space between this card and the other. If you have a look at Figma, look, we got here a vertical space of 12 pixels, and this space is not applied here, and also this card here is cut off. How to fix this problem? This problem because we put our height width for our meditation card. So if you go to our meditation card, you're gonna see this image background has a style inside image container. We got here a width of 166. Because of this, this part is cut off and there's no spaces. Let's try to decrease it. So let's to make it 150. Now it looks better. You can make it 100. Oops, no, not 100. Let's try to make it 155. It looks good, but we want to make it responsive. So we can create something here. We can create, first we can import our dimensions, and we can get our phone width using the dimension. So we can get const phone width equals to dimensions dot get window dot width. Then we can create another variable and name it card width. And this card width is gonna be the phone width minus, let's say we need to add some margin here. Let's make it, for example, 16. So minus 16. And we're gonna multiply it in 3. Why we multiply it in 3? Because we got here 3 edges, the left, the right, and the inside. And after this, we're gonna just divide it by 2. Because we have here only 2 cards, so we're gonna divide it by 2. So now here's our card width. Let's go down here and put it here instead of this 155. Now it looks better, isn't it? You can also decrease or increase this value to increase or decrease this space between them. For example, we can make it 20. Oops, let's make it, let's increase it a little bit. Let's make it 14. I think 14 is good. Or let's return it 16. Why 16? To make the space here equals to space here equals to space here. Because we put early the padding horizontal here and here is 16. Let me recap it. Yes, it's 16. So we just specify this number as 16 to get the spaces are equals. Now let's compare our design to our Figma design. So let's go back to Figma. I think the design is in Figma is a little bit square, not like this. So let's decrease the height of it. So let's go and go to meditation card. And let's try to make this height. Let's make it, for example, 140. I think this looks better. Now we are approximately done, but we still have one thing. We didn't render our data yet. So if you go to our dummy data, here we got here different images. We didn't render those different images yet. So next lesson, we're gonna add some props to our meditation card here. We're gonna replace those static values with dynamic props to make our component reusable and to render this data from data file. In previous lesson, we've learned how to use FlatList with 2 columns. But if you have a look at our component, it's not reusable. We need to add some props to it to make our component reusable. So if you have a look at Figma here, we got here multiple images. But in our component, we get only one image. So how to make our component reusable? We're gonna use the props. We've used it before and we're gonna recap it. So we're gonna just add some property for image, title, and date. So here, image, title, date. And instead of each static value, we're gonna pass our props. So instead of this URL, we're gonna just pass our image. Like this. Let's please rename it and make it image URL. Choosing good names is not an optional, it's required. And you have to replace your names with good names when you have the chance, okay? So we're gonna make our first prop image URL. Then we're gonna go to our home screen, and inside our render item, if you have a look here, we need to pass this prop image URL. And for this image URL, we're gonna just pass item.what.image. If you have a look at our dummy data, we got here image property. Here and here and here. Each object has an image property. So this item refers to each item in our data object. So if you just press save, you're gonna notice that our new image has been appeared here in our app. Why the last image is not exist? I think we got something wrong with our last image. So let's, for example, try to check this URL. I think this URL is not working. Let's try to open it. As I predicted, it got 404. So let's replace this image URL. Let's pick this one from object 4 and let's replace it with it. Now great, our image appear here. So now that was for the image. What about the title and the date? We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go to our meditation card and replace this title with this meditation here. And also this date, we're gonna replace it with this static date here. Like this. Now we just need to go back to our home screen and pass those 3 props. The first is title, and it's gonna be equals to item.title. And the date is gonna be equals to item.date. And press save. Now we get here the data from our data file here. So if you change anything here, for example, let's make this AAAA. Look, we got here AAA. If you change the date and make it 6th of February and 10 p.m., you're gonna see also here 6th of February, 10 p.m. So any change of the data here, we're gonna be added to this data here. And also, you can add any items. For example, we got here item with ID 6. Let's just duplicate it like this and give it ID of 7. And let's press save. Now it appears at the down here. But we got here an issue. Look, we need to add some space at the down here. How to add this space? Let's go to our home screen. Let's first format our code, just format document, and use this beautiful property, content container style. This property is the property to style the container of our flat list. So we're gonna just add padding bottom. Let's make it vertical scale. Let's make it 100. Now let's try to scroll down. Look, we got here space. Let's try to make it 150. Look, we got here more space. And also let's just add some padding top here. So padding top, let's see what's the space in Figma. So we got here in Figma a space of 24. So let's just add 24. So now padding top vertical scale of 24. Now we got here vertical space and bottom space. We got only one last thing here. In our meditation card, we just need to add some TypeScript. So let's create our interface. Let's name it meditation card props. And we're gonna pass our 3 props. And 3 of them are strings. So this image URL is a string. And this title is a string as well, and this date is a string as well. String like this. And let's just format our code like this and give this interface prop to our meditation card component. So the type of this meditation card is a functional component that has those three props. In this lesson, we're gonna start creating our payment screen. So first, let's create this header component. This header is just this circle and this text. And if you remember, we got here this arrow. We've built it here, remember, inside our contact us screen. So we've created this component before. We're gonna just import it and add this text to it. So let's go here and inside src, inside screens, let's create a new file and name it payment screen.tsx. And we're gonna create a functional component. Then let's go and render it. So in app.tsx, we're gonna just render payment screen like this. Now let's remove this and get our simulator. Now let's start building our screen. The first component was the header. So we're gonna just add a view here with a style equals to Felix direction is gonna be row, and inside it we're gonna just add the main back. Remember it? What was the name of component? It's called back button. Back button. We've duplicated this view import. What's wrong with my code? Let's try to reload it. I think it's just needed to reload. And with the back button, we're gonna just add a text. And inside this text, we're gonna just add this payment. And this text, the font size of it is 17, and this is the color of it. So inside this text, we're gonna add this style. Font size is a scale of 17, and the color is this hex color. And the name of it is payment. So we're gonna just pass this payment. Let's format our code and see. We just need to add some space here at the top. So let's just, in this container, let's just add style equals to, we're gonna add the Felix of 1, and padding top, we're gonna just make it, for example, vertical scale of, let's make it 40, or let's get it from Figma. So if we just open Figma, it's 57. Let's make it 50. Like this. And we just need to add some space between the payment text and the back icon, 18 pixels. So for this text, we're gonna just add margin start, scale of 18. And for this container view, we're gonna just add align items to center, because we want to center the text with the back button. So let's just center it like this. And let's remove this first text. In this screen, we got here padding horizontal, but here we don't have this padding, so we're gonna implement the padding to this and also to the rest of the component. So how much is the padding? The padding is 24. So let's add in the container here, padding horizontal, scale of 24, like this. I think the pixels in Figma is much bigger than mobile, because sometimes Figma pixels are not like the mobile pixels. So let's try to decrease those numbers. For example, this 18, let's make it, for example, 20. And this 24, let's make it 20, or let's even make it 16. Let's try 16. I think 16 is better. Okay. Now let's just add some margin bottom of 37. So margin bottom to this container here. Margin bottom is vertical scale 37. Now we are done with the header. Next lesson, we're gonna create this payment method card. In this lesson, we're gonna create this component, pay method card. So inside our code, let's close this. And inside our components, let's create a new component and name it pay method card.tsx. And we're gonna create a functional component. Now let's go and render it here inside payment screen. for just testing. So here, let's just import it. Let's just render it. And don't forget to import it. Now let's go and build it. We got here a view as a container. Then we got another view as a container for the icon and text here. First, let's get this icon. So let's right click on it and press copy as SVG. And then let's go to our SVG viewer. So in Google, just type SVG viewer. And open this website and paste the code. We've copied it as SVG. We're gonna just paste it here. Then we're gonna press on React Native and we're gonna just copy this component. We're gonna just copy this icon and go to our icons file inside our assets. And we're gonna just paste it and we're gonna name it. What's the name of it? Cache icon. And we're gonna just export it and add TypeScript for it, SVG props, and remove this line. Now let's go and try to use this icon here. So let's add it here, cache icon. Now it appears pretty well. Now let's add a view. This view has a height 72 and width 85. And the border radius is 9.62. We're gonna make it 10, okay? And here's the background color of it. So we're gonna just add a view as a wrapper for our icon, and we're gonna give it style equals to styles.card. Let's make it card. And we're gonna initialize it here, card. The background color is the color that we've copied from Figma. The border radius as, let's make it scale of 10. Width as we've mentioned here, 85. So scale of 85. And height is gonna be equal vertical scale 72. Let's see. Now we got it here, but we just need to center the icon. So let's add justify content, center, and align items center as well, like this, to center the icon. Now we got here the text. Beside it, it's called cache. The color of it is this color, and the font size is 14. So we're gonna just add a style for this text. We're gonna just name it to make it cache, and we're gonna add a style for it equals to styles.label. And inside this label, we're gonna make the font size scale of 14, and the color is gonna be this hex color. And also we need to make it in the center and has some space at the top. So we got here 4 pixels of margin top and it's in the center. So align or text align, let's make it in the center. Let's make it in the center, but it became in the center because the container contained all this space. We're gonna fix it later. And margin top is vertical scale of 4. Now we're gonna fix it. If you have a look at this view, if we get it style and background color, for example, red, look, it got all the width of the screen. So to fix this issue, you can get this container the width of this card. So let's copy this width here and let's just add it here. Width like this card, like this. And now let's delete this red. And let's see what to do next. Now, if you have a look, we got here 2 types of payment card method. We got not selected one and the selected one. Will we create 2 components? Of course not. It will be only 1 component. But we're gonna just add styles when it's selected. We're gonna add this icon here with this circle and this border when it's selected. And when it's not, we're gonna make it like this. So in next lesson, we're gonna add the styling for the selected payment method. In this lesson, we're gonna add the selected prop to our payment method card. Look here, we got here, this component is a payment method. But when you click it, it should be like this, with this selected one. We will not gonna build 2 components. We're gonna just build only 1 component and add props to it in the styling to appear in different ways. Okay, so first, what we got here, the difference between this and this is the background color here is white, and this border, and this icon here with its container. So we're gonna do those 3 changes. But first, let's add a prop, and this prop called is selected. So let's add a prop here, name it is selected, and we're gonna make the default value of it is false. Okay, and we're gonna go to our payment screen and duplicate this payment method card, and add is selected to be true to allow us to see the changes between them. Okay, now first we need to make the background color when it's selected to be white. So we're gonna go here and make this styles.card. We're gonna make it array of styles. So we're gonna just make it array like this, and add when it is selected prop, we're gonna add this style. Styles dot selected card style, like this. Let's make our code editor a little bit bigger. Okay, so we're gonna just define it here, and we're gonna add those styles to it. We're gonna make the background color is white. So when it's selected, the background color is gonna be white. And also we just need to add this border width and the border color. The border width is 2, and this is the border color. So border width is scale of 2, and border color is this hex color. Now let's see. Now we're done with our border. We still need this icon, this true icon with this container of it. So what we got here? We got here a circle with border width of 2, and the border is white. And the background color of it is this color, the orange one with this hex. So we're gonna just add this circle here. So we're gonna add here up this view. We're gonna just add, if it's selected, we're gonna render a view. And we're gonna give this view this style. Style equals to styles dot check mark container. And this check mark container have those styles. The height and width is 24 because it's a circle. So the border radius, we're gonna make it 12. So height, scale of 24, width is also scale 24, border radius is a scale of 12, border width is a scale of 2, border color is the white color. And we want to make our circle at the top here. It didn't appear yet because we didn't give it a background yet. So the background color of it is this color. So background color is this color. Now it appears, but look, we should to make the position of it is absolute and put it right here. Okay, to do this, we're gonna just add position is absolute. Why it disappear? Because this view is overridden. So we're gonna give it z index of 1 to make it appear like this. Then we're gonna make the top of it, we're gonna make it scale of -10 to be up. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. See here, we want to make it above this line, as you see here. So we're gonna make it -10 to be the top of the border. And also right is gonna be scale of -10 as well, to put it like this. Let's try to decrease this 10. Let's try to make it 8. I think it's better. Finally, let's just add the check mark inside it. And to make this a check mark in the center, we need to justify content and align items elements in the center. So finally, we're gonna just add justify content, center, align items, center as well. So now let's finally put inside this view. Here is the view of our, let's format our code. We're gonna put it inside this view. So inside this view, we're gonna just add the check mark. So let's search in Expo. So easily here in Google, just type Expo vector icons. And let's search for check. We got here a got a check from int bio. Let's choose it. Let's first import it. Copy this line to import it. At the top here. And here is the render of it. So let's just copy it and paste it here to render it. Now we just need to make the color of it is white because the color here is white. So white. And the size must be less than this. The size here is, the width is 9 and the height is 6. So let's make the size, let's give it, for example, let's try to make it 10 and see. Let's try to make it bigger, 12, like this. I think it looks better. Now when component is selected, it will look like this. And when it's not selected, it will look like this. And we initialize is selected to be false, because if you didn't pass this prop is selected to be true. If we just delete it, it's gonna be like this. But if you just make it selected, it will be like this. Now our last thing we need to do is to pass the title and icon as props. So this title and this icon also, because if you see here, we got here different icons: Visa, Cash, MasterCard, and also different titles: Cash, Visa, MasterCard. So we're gonna replace this static values with dynamic values. So this Cash, we're gonna make it title and pass it as a prop also. Here, title. And this Cash icon here, we're gonna just delete it and pass icon like this. And put it here also in props. Now if we press save, the icon and title will be gone because we didn't pass them here yet. But if you pass it here, for example, title Cash, it will be appear. Now everything worked pretty good, but we just need to add some TypeScript for our component. So let's create our interface, hey method card, and we're gonna make is selected. The type of it is Boolean. And it's not required, it's optional. And the title is a string. And the icon is what? The type of it is React Node. And you can import it from React. And finally, let's just add this interface here. Let's name it Pay Method Card Props. And make our component is a functional component of this type. Now let's press save. Now it looks as before. We just added some TypeScript to our code. In this lesson, we're gonna create our payment list component. If you have a look here, you're gonna notice that it's a scrollable view. If you notice this PayPal, this must be a PayPal. So it's a scrollable view. So we want to make our data in a scrollable way, those payment methods data. And to do this, you can use a scroll view or FlatList, as we've made it before. But first, we need to extract those icons. I previously exported this icon and name it Cash icon, but we still need to export this icon, and this also PayPal icon. As you've learned before, you're gonna just copy as SVG and go to our SVG viewer website and convert it to SVG. Or you can also copy it and go to ChatGPT and ask him to make it a React Native component for you. I mean convert SVG to React Native. You can also export it as PNG, but I've told you before, SVG is better than PNG. Okay, so now I just exported this icon and I'm done with them. Here's the Cash icon, and here's the Visa icon, and here's MasterCard icon, and PayPal icon. So what I'm gonna do is going to our components and create a new component called paymentlist.tsx. And I'm gonna create a functional component, RNFES, and go and render it in payment screen. So instead of those two components, I'm gonna just render the payment list here. Then I'm gonna create our list of data. We got here 4 payment methods. So I'm gonna create an array and put them inside it. So here, I'm gonna create an array. Let's name it payment methods. And each item is gonna be an object, has a label, and icon. The first icon is gonna be Cash icon. Let's duplicate this 4 times. The second label is gonna be Visa. Third label is gonna be MasterCard. Fourth label is gonna be PayPal. And this icon is gonna be Visa icon, and MasterCard icon, and PayPal icon. As simple as this. Then we're gonna put inside this view, we're gonna just add a flat list. And this flat list, don't forget to import it from React, got 3 important properties. As we've mentioned before, the data is gonna be our payment methods data. The key structure, it's a unique key for each item. We're gonna make item.label. This label here. But you have to make sure that this label is gonna be unique. So duplicated labels will affect a performance issue, okay? Third, render item. In this render item, we're gonna destruct the item and we're gonna add our component. Payment method. What was the component name? I forgot it. Hey, method card. So pay method card. Oops, we forgot to add the first tag like this. Now we got here our flat list. Let's just give the props for it. The first property is label. And this label is gonna be item.label. What's the difference here? Label, the prop must be the same as here. Here's the prop is title, not label. So this must be title, not like this, to make the title appear. Second prop is icon, and this icon is gonna be item, and this icon is gonna be item.icon, like this. Now we got here our flat list, but it's in a vertical way, not horizontal way. So we're gonna add this prop to our flat list. We're gonna just make it horizontal. To make it horizontal like this, let's format our code, right click, format document. And also we wanted to hide this horizontal indicator. So we're gonna use this prop, show horizontal scroll indicator. We're gonna set it to false, like this. Now it's gone. And finally, we just need to add some spaces between item to other. So we're gonna just add container style, and we're gonna just add gap to make it scale of 16, like this, to have space between the items. Now it looks like we've done with it, but if you have a look here, we got here a space here and space here, and we want to remove them. So let's go to our payment screen. Let's put this padding horizontal here in this view, like this, not in flat list. And for the flat list, we're gonna just add it in the content container style. So here in the content container style, we're gonna just add padding horizontal, scale of 24, like this. But I think it's not 24, it was 16, right? So let's make it 16. Now it looks better. The final thing that we want to do is adding the selected prop. When you press here, look, nothing happens. I want when we press on any item, it got selected. How to do this? To do this, we're gonna use our useStateHook. So here, let's create a useStateHook. So const selected method and set selected method equals to use state with empty string. Okay, and we're gonna add inside this pay method card, we're gonna just add this property, the on press property. But to add it, we just need to go to our component and add it here. So we're gonna go to our pay method card and add a third prop. Let's name it on press, and let's change this view to make it touchable opacity, and at the down here also touchable opacity, and the on press prop is gonna be equals to on press prop that we're gonna pass in the component. So let's use it here on press. When we press on any item, we're gonna just set selected method to be this item, or let's set it to be item.label, like this. And finally, we're gonna add another prop, the isSelected prop, and this prop is gonna be selected method equals item.label, like this. Now when you press here, look, the item is selected. Oops, if you see here, we got here a cutoff. So let's just add some padding top to remove this cutoff. So here in the content container style, let's just add padding top. Let's try to make it vertical scale of the space was 10. Let's try to make it 15, like this. Now the cutoff is disappeared. If you don't understand this, what I've write here, it's pretty simple. We'll just add the selected method here and initialize it with empty string. If you just reload, nothing is selected because we initialize it as empty string. If we just make it Visa, look what's gonna happen. Visa is selected. If you just make it PayPal, PayPal is selected. So how this is work? This selected method has a value, and this value is a string. It can be cash, it can be MasterCard or anything. And when this selected value equals to item.label, this item.label refer to this label. For example, if selected method equal to PayPal, then this fourth item is gonna be selected. And if this selected method is equal to Visa, like this, then it will see this condition. Selected method is equal to item.label. So it's gonna search in those labels, cash, Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal, and it's gonna see Visa here. So this is gonna be selected. So it's pretty simple. Let's just finally format our code and add TypeScript for this onPress handler. So we're gonna go to our pay method card and add this onPress, and we're gonna make it optional, and it's gonna be just a function that return void. It's just a TypeScript code. Now, the hard things in this screen is done, and the rest is simple. In this lesson, we're gonna create this box. So let's go to our code and add a new component, and let's name it bank card box.tsx. And let's create RNFES functional component, and let's just go and render it inside our payment screen. So here, let's just render it here. Bank card box. Now let's go and style it. We're gonna add a view with this background color with border radius 10. The width of it is gonna be 100% and the height is gonna be 257. So let's go to our code and give this style equals to styles.container. Container. The background color is this color. The height is vertical scale 257 and border radius is scale of 10. We want to add some padding horizontal to it, so let's go to our payment screen and wrap it inside a view. So let's add a view and give this view just padding horizontal, scale of 16, like this. Let's give this a space 25 pixels. So margin top, vertical scale 25, like this. Now what we got here? We got here an icon, a title, and subtitle. So let's first extract this icon. So right click on it and just copy as SVG and go to our SVG viewer. You can also, by the way, ask ChatGPT to do it for you. ChatGPT can make it. And press on React Native and copy this part here and go to our icons and let's just export it. So export. Don't forget, you just need to add some imports here. You just need to import the G and the rect and G and mask. You need to import them. You can import them from React Native SVG. So here, let's go to our React Native SVG and import mask and G and what else? And rect. Like this. And let's just add TypeScript definition and remove this line. It will work without adding TypeScript or even removing this line. It will also work. And finally, let's just rename this icon. Let's make it bank card icon. And let's go and put it inside our box. So here, bank card icon. Now we've added it here. We just need to center all things in the middle. So justify content center, align items center as well, to center all the things. I think our view is very much bigger. Let's try to decrease it. The pixels in Figma are not matching the pixels in our simulator. So it's normal to decrease it. Or I have another way. Let's just remove the height like this and use padding. For example, you get here padding top 35 and padding bottom, let's make it 35 as well. So let's add padding vertical scale of 35. Like this. Now let's change the title. The title was no MasterCard added. It's bold and 16. So the title is no MasterCard added. And this is the color of it. So let's give it style. Let's put it inline style. So color is gonna be this hex color. Font size is gonna be scale of 16. And font weight is bold. Like this. Let's just give it some margin top. So margin top is 17. And let's add the other text. The other text, you can add a MasterCard and save it for later. So let's create another text. So text. The font size is 15 and this is the color of it. So style equals to color. This hex color. Font size is 15. And let's just add some padding top here of 6. So margin top vertical scale of 6. Let's just add some padding horizontal also. So inside our container, let's just add padding horizontal. Let's make it scale of 30. And let's make this text in the center. So let's add text align center. As simple as that. Now we are done with our bank card box. What we still got here, we still got this button and this text and this button as well. In this session, we're gonna create this add new button. So here inside our this code, we're gonna create a new component and name it add button.tsx and create a functional component RNFES. And let's go and render it here inside payment screen. So let's just render it here. We got here error, my auto import sometimes through errors. Now let's just, after removing the duplicated import, let's just format our document. Now let's press save. Now let's go and implement our pattern. So here, what we got here? We got here a container with border width of 2 and border radius 10. Just double click on it to get the border radius. So the border radius is 10 and the border width is 2. And here's the color of border width and the background color is white. So let's go and implement it. So here, let's give it style. We're gonna use inline style. Okay, so the border color is this hex color. Border width as scale of 2. Background color is white. Border radius is a scale of 10. And let's see the padding. We got here padding top and down 23 and 22. Let's make it 22. So here padding vertical scale of 22 and justify content center and align items center as well. And the text here called add new. So here, let's just add new. I think 22 is a much bigger. Let's make it 15. I think this is better. The color of add new is this color. So let's style this text. Our text is 14 pixels and the color of it is this color. So inside this text, we're gonna edit style. Color is gonna be this hex color. And font size is scale of 14, like this. Finally, let's just add this icon here. We can use it as SVG or we can search in Expo icons. So let's just type Expo vector icons and search for plus icon. We got here a plus Let's use this from Feezer. Let's copy it, copy the import, and copy the render. And let's just put it here, up the text. Now let's see. The color of it must be like this hex color, like the text color. And let's make the flex direction is row to put it besides each other, like this. Let's make our button touchable opacity, not view, touchable opacity, to be clickable. And let's give it some margin top. So here, margin top of 15. In this lesson, we're gonna learn how to add animations to our React Native app. What if you want to change this credit card or this card with some good animations? It's easy to do. You just need to install this library. So let's just search for React Native Lottie Expo and select this first option. First, we're gonna need to install this library. So let's copy this command and go to our code editor and paste it here to install this library. npx expo install Lottie-React-Native. Now let's search for Lottie. And let's select this free animations. Now let's search for bank card or something. And select any one of those beautiful animations. Let's try to select. What about this? You have to know that some animations are premium animations. So let's select one not premium. Let's try to select this. And let's try to make changes to the color. For example, let's try to select this pattern here. And now let's save it to download it. So let's press here on download. Let's press save. And here you can use any format that you want. For us, we're gonna use JSON, Lottie JSON. You can here also do some changes to it or change the color or so, but we're gonna use it as it is. So I'm gonna press here download, and now animation is downloaded. After downloaded, let's just drag and drop it to our VS Code. So here inside our assets, I'm gonna drag and drop it to our assets like this, to our VS Code. Now here is our animation file. Let's rename it. Let's rename it to be bank card animation. Okay, now how to use this animation? We're gonna go to our payment screen, and inside this bank card box, we got here our bank card icon. Let's format our code. We're gonna replace this bank card item, this refers to this card, we're gonna replace it with animation. So let's comment this and let's run our metro. So npm start, press I to run it on iOS to see the changes. Now it got disappeared. Let's try to display the animation instead of it. How to display this animation? You're gonna go to documentations here of Lottie React Native. We just need here first to import our Lottie view. So let's copy it and paste it here. Then we're gonna use our component Lottie view. So we're gonna copy it, copy this part, and we're gonna paste it here. Here's our Lottie view. Let's comment this ref for now. And here the path of our animation. The path here is inside assets bank card animation.json. So let's right click and press on copy relative path. Let's put it here. And since we are in components folder, we need to go level up. So we want to go level up, then go to assets. So here instead of this src, we're gonna just add 2 dots like this. Now let's press save and see. Now here's our animation. It looks good, isn't it? Let's just remove this background and let's make the height and width smaller than this. For example, 200 and 200. Let's make it, for example, 150 like this. And so now you can download any animation and use it. You can just use from this website Lottie files. So you can use any animations and add it to your React Native app. Now let's remove our animation and return our design like Figma with this bank card icon like Figma here. Now it's task time, but before I give you the task, I would like to mention 2 points. The first point is when you use FlatList, please try to put it as a container. Why? Because FlatList, it's not taking the Felix one by default, but it only takes up as much space as its parent container allows. So you have to put your FlatList inside container, especially when it's horizontal. So if you have a look here, if you just remove this view and this view also, I speak about the payment list component. Look what will happen. Look, the FlatList take as much space. Look. So you have to put your FlatList in a container to control the space that FlatList is taking. The second thing I would like to mention is what I have done here. I put the colors here in a duplicated way and not a good way. It's better to add a new folder and name it styles, and in this styles we put all the colors of it because it's a better approach. It's better than this way. But because in this section I want only to focus on the UI, so I put the colors aesthetically, and also because the colors, all of them are different. But when you build real products like our AI chat app and smart e-commerce app that we're gonna build later in this course, we're gonna follow a good design system, and we're gonna put our colors inside constants and use the color in a good approach. Now let me introduce you your task. What you're gonna do in this task, see this button? I want you to create this button. You can create a new component under this button, or you can use this button here that I have created previously and just add some props to it. For example, a props to remove this icon, or props to add an icon and pass it as null, and another props for the title and prop for background color or the style. So if you have some experience in React or in props, just use this component and make it reusable. If you're not, don't worry. As I promised in this course, I will cover the props and a lot of React basics. And later, we're gonna practice props more and more, and you're gonna master the props. So if you don't have any React experience, just create it as a new component. Okay? And you're gonna also add this text. It is just 2 text. You can use a nested text, or you can use a view with Felix direction row. And for this screen, it has only this logo here. You can use PNG or SVG, and I prefer SVG like we've done here before. For this image, you're gonna just implement this text and this text input. It's just a view with border radius and background color. There is the background color of it, and icon and placeholder. And this here with 2 icons, one for this eye and one for this lock. And text here, and this button we've created it already, like here, so it will gonna be easy to you to implement it. And this is here, those are just circles, and in this screen we've mastered the circles. We've created here and here and here and here. So and here also we've created a circle. So creating circles for you is not a hard thing, isn't it? And for this screen, it is just a background image. We've implemented the background image here, but you're gonna just give it the Felix of 1 to fill all the screen, and add this text and add this button. And finally, for this screen, you're gonna just add this circle here with icon, and circle with icon, and title icon, and this card. It's a view with this background color, and this list here, we've created a list like it already here, so it's a little bit similar. And this flat list with 2 rows, we've implemented here also already in meditation screen. So it's your task, build those 4 screens and this pattern component and this text component. I hope you to implement them, because you'll never learn until you implement and write code. So get your hand dirty and start building those 4 screens.